in his first qualifying lap, just 28 seconds into it, and Ferrari, of course, under enormous pressure to do well here.
Yes, Richard, they've the first two Grand Prix of the season were disappointing to them. They tested very well indeed here last week, and Prost, in fact, at a time in the low 1 minute 22 second bracket. But today, Friday afternoon, the circuit, I don't think is quite as quick as it was last week. And certainly this morning, the kind of times that Ferrari were producing were slower than those of 1 week ago. But this is now official qualifying, and Jean Alesi's Ferrari is well and truly on fire. That is a serious blow-up for the Alesi car, and that engine is absolutely covering the back of the car. Back to Alain Prost now, comes back to the end of his first qualifying run. We're saying that Prost was quick last week. Can he repeat that time this week? I would say it's going to be close. Well, he is about 4/10 slower than he was last week, but that's currently enough. Put Alain Prost onto the front row alongside Ayrton Senna, second quickest with 1 minute 22.689. Senna on the pole with a time that is actually about 40 hundredths of a second quicker.
Prost's flying lap then has, I think, dampened the disappointment of the Tifosi, cheering in the grandstand, although Alesi's car, as you say, John, blazing merrily there.
Yes, the car came round the circuit and lots of fire out of the back of the car. Obviously a serious blow-up for Alesi, and that was the cause of the fire. It was just almost at the end of Alesi's lap, so it was very unfortunate to not make the lap before the blow-up. But Riccardo Patrese is now provisional pole holder. He has set a time of 1:22.480. Riccardo Patrese, the man who won here last year. And I must say, I talked to Riccardo Patrese on Friday morning, and he was very, very confident indeed. Not only was he confident about his prospects, he just looked to be, well, I've never seen him look so happy and content in all the years he's been in Grand Prix racing. I think he feels he's definitely got this Imola Grand Prix sewn up yet again.
Well, now this should be interesting for us and for the Tifosi, because Alain Prost is back out, and it seems that Prost has decided to bet against the weather and run early.
Yes, Prost just finishing that first, well, that's in fact his second lap out. Now it's possible Prost has decided to go with the soft race tyre. We never really know which tyre the teams are running. It's a closely guarded secret in these qualifying sessions, which tyre a team will choose, and it's quite possible that Ferrari or Prost or any number of other teams might choose one set of qualifiers, one set of soft race. If the difference in the tyre isn't so great, at least the soft race tyre gives you more chance to run the car, and Prost going very wide coming out of that long downhill left-hand corner. But running in that soft set of race tyres gives you more time to assess the situation, the track conditions, and if you want to make a change to your car, at least you can get more than that one lap you get on a qualifier. So I think we'll have a look at Prost's time.
He's using...
assess how quickly he is getting around. I can tell you now, looking here, well, that's not a bad time, because that change of tarmac, there you go from two different shades of tarmac. I got a baseline time for Prost, or if anybody else in that section of circuit. So it looks like it's going to be a reasonable time. But this will give him a chance to get through this final, very slow, very slippery chicane across the start-finish line. Well, look, Alain Prost is on the pole position.
Gerhard Berger then. And again, we're forced to guess what tyres he's running, but he's on his fast lap now. At the moment, he's 1:22.96. Alain Prost is the quick man, 1:22.19. And Berger, too, is much more confident this weekend than he was in Brazil or Phoenix. He seems to be a much more happy and relaxed little soldier, doesn't he?
Yes, I talked to Gerhard recently. In fact, he was testing at Silverstone during the week. And he is physically more comfortable. He fits this car now very well indeed. And this is a circuit, in spite of that awful accident 2 years ago, that he really enjoys. Now let's watch Berger at the same part of the circuit. Almost the same sort of time as Prost did when Prost got on the pole. So Berger is now on the way to a potential pole position lap. And he doesn't mess it up. In the remaining sort of few hundred meters, we might see yet another provisional pole setter before this 1 hour session finishes. But that was a bit messy through there. He didn't really get through and into the chicane as well as we expected. The consequence is 1:22.567 keeps Gerhard Berger. Oh, look at that. Riccardo Patrese is second. Berger has now deposed Senna. Senna is back to fourth. Berger third place. And it's all beginning to happen now. We've got Riccardo Patrese yet again. Patrese on his second run.
He too, they're all using the circuit and they're all starting to look a little bit ragged here and there. Are we looking really at the best that can happen in these conditions for all of these drivers? How close are they?
Well, they're certainly all on the limit. And Patrese, the thing I can't get over was his confidence when I said, "Hi Riccardo, how are you this morning?" And he just lit up like a Christmas tree. The smile said everything.
No doubt about it, this car is quick.
Like, this car is very, very quick, and it's quick everywhere. Well, there we are. Riccardo Patrese is snatched again. Provisional pole. Riccardo Patrese with a 1:21.957. 2/10 of a second quicker than the pole position, the provisional pole, Alan Prost, annexed just, well, 3 minutes ago.
Nigel Mansell then on his first set of qualifying tyres, and a quarter of the way round this lap now. Ayrton Senna still has one qualifying set left, and the provisional pole is down to 1:21 at the moment, and Mansell in lots of trouble there.
Oh dear me. Well, basically what Nigel did, he came up behind Barbazza in his first race in the AGS, locked up the left front brake. He was watching Barbazza, got it all wrong, drove across the grass. He's now going past JJ later, so well, there's one set of qualifying tyres that are virtually used and useless. Whether that time will be allowed to stand, I would very much doubt, because he did take a shortcut, not an intentional shortcut, a force majeure shortcut.
I think that was a short trim, actually, because he mowed a section of that grass off. It can't have helped his time.
No, but he did get past the AGS of Barbazza. But I remember something like that happening last year for Nigel. That part of the circuit, of course, you're coming downhill. It's a very tight, let's look at it again. There you see the right front lock up. He knows he's not going to get through the chicane, so he actually just nails the throttle. Barbazza is almost attacked by Mansell's Williams from the left. He lets Mansell go on through. I would imagine that time will be disallowed. Whether the distance was actually any shorter or not, I'm not sure, but he certainly didn't follow the racetrack. And great disappointment for Mansell to come up against traffic at that particular part of the circuit.
Das hätte zu einer wirklich gefährlichen Kollision kommen können. Und ich bin auch sicher, dass man in der Williams-Renault-Box über dieses Manöver nicht sehr glücklich war.
Ayrton Senna seems yet again to have picked his moment rather well, circulating slowly. And he does build up a mental picture in these laps, not only of the circuit, but of where everything is in relation to him, and then just picks his moment.
Yes, well, I mean, I have to say Ayrton Senna is the nearest thing to an astronaut in Grand Prix racing. The ability he has just to drive the car is one thing, but the mental commitment that he makes and his ability to absorb information, to think things out, is remarkable. Certainly in racing driver terms, there's never been a racing driver in my mind like Ayrton Senna. He is unquestionably one of the greats of Grand Prix racing, alongside people like Fangio, Clark, Moss, Stewart, all those post-war drivers that have currently been resurrected in various debates about who's been the best, who's your number one. But this man certainly has got to be in the equation of being one of the great racing drivers of all time, and certainly I would say the greatest man in the 90s.
Unbelievable car control from Ayrton Senna, and again we saw that he lets the Minardi go ahead of him, but when he put on the power he came up on it at a place where he could easily get past without losing time, and he must have computed that into his plan for this lap, and the rest of it now seeming deserted, as indeed it did from the air. One more car ahead of him, but Ayrton Senna certainly moving.
Yes, well, let's check Senna's lap time when we come round. You see a sensible one of the Braboms letting, I think that's Martin Brundle. At this point, fractionally quicker. I reckon we might just see Ayrton Senna nick that provisional pole away from Riccardo Patrese. Remember, he's got to beat a 1:21.957, and I think Senna's going to do it.
He's a lot tidier and a lot cleaner. Whatever adjustments he made to that car have certainly done the trick, because this looks a tidier lap than the other one.
Yes, he has. By a tenth of a second, he's done it.
So Ayrton Senna does it again.
In der ersten Reihe als schnellster des Trainings zum 55. Mal. Und ich bin sicher, dass es keine schnelleren Zeiten mehr gibt. Aber schalten wir zurück wieder hier zum aktuellen
Divisional pole position, 121.877, just snatching it from Riccardo Patrese's 121.957. Alain Prost, third quickest in the 122s, with Nigel Mansell making fourth fastest on his second run after that excursion onto the grass. Gerhard Berger is fifth quickest, Stefano Modena sixth fastest, and then seventh, Jean Alesi after the fire, still making it at 123.945. Gianni Morbidelli next, and Pierluigi Martini side by side 8th and 9th, and in 10th place Satoru Nakajima, first of the 1 minute 25 second runners. Then come Andrea De Cesaris and Bertrand Gachot, then Roberto Moreno and Nelson Piquet. Maurizio Gugelmin is 15th quickest, 16th JJ Leto, and 17th Eric Bernard. Martin Brundle, first man in the 126 second bracket, with Eric Comas behind him 19th, Aguri Suzuki 20th, and a fine effort from Eric van der Poel 21st. 22nd, it's Ivan Capelli, then Mark Blundell and Thierry Boutsen, 24th fastest. At 127, it's Mika Hakkinen and Julian Bailey just scraping ahead of the provisional cut. Out for the time being, Gabriele Tarquini, Fabrizio Barbazza, Alex Caffey with the new footwork, and Michele Alboreto with the old footwork. So an interesting first day, very busy first day qualifying here at Imola, and coming between John Watson and myself, the source of all the aggravation, this, John, that you are clutching is what it's all about.
Yes, indeed. Well, we're in the room which is the Principality of San Marino. They've got a special room here at Imola, and this is the trophy the winner on Sunday will take home. It's a lovely piece of kit. It's very heavy. Some poor wife or girlfriend's going to have to spend all her time keeping it spotless and immaculate, but I'm sure it's going to be worth it. It's a great trophy, and of course on Sunday we're going to see a fantastic race.
Well, before Sunday we have the second qualifying session. You can see that also on Eurosport. Don't forget to join us again for the second qualifying session from Imola.